All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. On Facebook, their Facebook page. Of course, we'll be sharing it all over Facebook and other social media. And we're streaming on the Relevant app, the group messaging super app with live pop-up chat rooms centered around podcasting. It's the people's app. That means you, too, can have your own podcast, create your own show, create your own empire right there on the Relevant app. Get it on the Apple Store or in Google Play. That's RELEVNT. All right, it's Tuesday after the 2022 draft. I was off the radio on Friday, off the podcast on Friday, although I was on Relevant throughout the day and throughout the draft on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Jags making their picks. They've also signed, I think, 15 free agents, which I was one of them. You know, I didn't make my first couple tries, but, of course, made it with the Jags in my third and final try. It was going to be my final try. So, look, you know, everyone says it doesn't matter where you start, it's how you finish. It's totally true. Free agents can make teams. There's no doubt. I tell you, this kid out of Notre Dame with $230K in guarantees, I'm assuming he's making the team. Like, you're not just throwing that money out the door. And that, just think of that, $230,000 in guarantees for an undrafted rookie. Hey, great for the kid. I'm all for him. I don't have his name. He's a kid from Notre Dame. I got the other guy's names. No disrespect to the undrafted free agents, but they'll make their names. They're going to have to make their names, of course, in order to stick with the team. But, man, that says a lot. The $25,000 signing bonus, that's been done before. That's just a high sought-after free agent. But $230K in guarantees, what does it tell you? The owners are raking in money. They are just swimming in. I think they have swimming pools filled with, $100 bills. They're just doing the backstroke in. But the Jags, hey, listen, I overall it's a good draft. It's not a flashy draft. It's not like, wow, oh, yeah. But it's when you look at it, and of course the caveat is Travon Walker. If he's a boom, like a big hit, this thing – A+, right? What a risk that you took, and it worked out. And that remains to be seen. I hope it does, obviously. What did I say before the draft? I don't care if I'm right. I want them to be right. And whoever they pick, they're a Jaguar, man, and so am I for life. So I don't like hearing that he's got work to do. So kind of a project. But you know what? I don't know. What are you drafting? You're drafting upside. You are. What are they? This whole floor shit stuff. Sorry. This whole floor stuff. It's like, I don't know. I don't get the floor stuff. I want ceiling. I want that. But look, the kid's big. He's fast. You can play him inside. You can play him outside. He played inside backer for a little bit. 6'5", 270 as an inside backer who can drop into coverage. I mean, I get it. I get it. Can you mold him into a dominant player? And where are you going to play him? 3-4? Okay, if that's our base, is he my strong side end and then gets up and rushes a passer on third down? Maybe. Or slides inside and rushes the passer. You got some versatility with him, so I like that. Look, the kid, he's obviously got a lot of talent. Now, can his game from college transition to the NFL? Remains to be seen. Look, I will say this overall, and now that he's a Jag, I don't really care anymore, but you shouldn't move up 20 spots to number 1 in the draft based off of combine. You shouldn't. Your tape should put you up there, and he was nowhere near that before the combine. He was not. I know someone out there said he was a top 10. Maybe that was like 1 or 2 publications. Most of them had about 20, 25, what have you. And again, it doesn't matter. He's a Jag now, but I don't think you pick based off a combine result. Hey, same with Stingley. I mean, that's Stingley Jr., who went to, I wrote it down because they had a good draft. The Texans, they had a good draft. I'm going to go through the teams I thought had a pretty good draft overall. And again, I think we had a very solid draft, a B+, whatever you want to call it. It's solid. It's solid. Little perplexing on who you grabbed and the positions you grabbed. But at the end of the day, whatever. As long as they're playmakers and they make this team better, I'm all for it. But let's go through it, okay? Because, again, Travon Walker, he's the wild card to me. He is. I hope it works out. I hope he's, Mike Mamula is a bad example. And I know he's Boston College and he's a friend of mine, and I do defend him, but he was never made for a 4-3 DN. He wasn't thick like this kid. Mamula was like 6'5", maybe 250. He was not thick and built like this guy is. So if Mamula was a 3-4 outside backer like Josh Allen, he would have been a monster. Total, in my opinion. That's what he did at BC. Had, I think, 15 sacks his senior year, 14, 13, something like that. He was a beast. But Trevon Walker's built differently. So they say he can play inside. They can say he can play outside. So we'll see on that. Devin Lloyd, they move up to grab Devin Lloyd, the backer out of Utah. All you hear about him is fantastic things. He is a playmaking linebacker, and I think it's fantastic. Now, do we need? I guess we do. Now you're shoring it up, right? You got a Luakan that you brought in. He's going to be in there. You've got Devin Lloyd now, a lot of speed between the two of them. And he's a guy that can rush the passer as well. Maybe who knows? The one thing they do have when you combine their free agents and the draft, they got some flexibility on where they can play guys, right? And we're going to get to Mooma and all those guys, but they're going to have some flexibility on where they put these guys. Now, with that being said, I didn't like that we didn't have a second-round pick. Now, I didn't want to take my 2 third-rounders and move up. I wanted to keep my third-rounders where they were, and I liked the third-round picks. But I think we missed on some talent in that second round, in my opinion. Second-rounders, to me, are pure football players. The only reason they're not in the first round, they're just a tiny bit off in measurables. Tiny bit. Like ran a 4.7 instead of a 4.5. Or jumped 30 inches instead of 33. Or, ran the short shot a little bit slower. That kind of stuff. But they're pure, very, very good football players. And you could go through the list in the Jaguars past of guys that were drafted in the second round that had tremendous. Take Maurice Jones-Drew, too short. That's why he was in the first round. And guess what? If they redid it, he'd be a top 5 pick. Darryl Smith, I don't know what his problem was. He was incredible to me. Rasheed Mathis went to a small school. Okay, second round pick. Boom. Where would you think you'd pick him if you redid it? He'd be in that top 10. You know what I'm saying? So second rounders, to me, it just... And I know there's plenty of busts, guys don't work out, whatever. We'll see, we have a couple here, although Campbell's on his way, and we'll see about Little. I'm not going to call either one, obviously that. But second round, I didn't like that. But we'll move on. I think you missed the guy. There was one guy, I wrote it down. The wide receiver from North Dakota State went number 34. He was pretty high on people's boards.
Christian Watson,
thank you. Went to Green Bay. Thank you, Aaron.
Phenomenal pick by them.
Great pick.
One of the best picks in the entire draft.
No
was
doubt.
Green Bay
incredible
picking Christian
pick.
Watson.
So, if we stay at 33, you know what I mean? That's what you don't look. You've got weapons, but could you have added another one? I mean, you do. You use free agency to upgrade your wide receiver room. You keep Treadwell. Of course, Zay Jones and Christian Kirk, and then Ingram, right? So I saw someone, I was talking about that Notre Dame wide receiver, $230K in guarantees for a free agent. Swimming in that money. Good for them.
He led Notre Dame in receiving.
No, I know. He's a beast. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. But if you're going to say one thing, I would have liked a tackle, but that's okay, whatever. Hey, Cam, congratulations. Glad you got your money. I hope you get that 85% up to 95%. If you make that jump, that would be fantastic. No doubt about it. All right, so they get into the third round. I think the third round, you can't say the first round could be a great round. I mean, if Trevon Walker works out, it's a phenomenal round. And I know you traded up for Devin, and then he's not an offensive weapon. He's not on the offensive side, but you made your defense better. So I'm okay. I think it's great. Good for the kid, too. I'm glad. And by the way, the Duval chant is out of this world. So keep that going, Devin. You'll win a lot of people over. But I thought Luke Fortner out of Kentucky played a lot of guard, can play center, big guy, pretty athletic. I like that pick. I like the Chad Muma pick, although you could sit there and be like, well, why do we need him? Well, maybe he's the highest rated player on the board. I did see a rating where Chad Muma and Devin Lloyd were rated the exact same, 90.3. Like on one of those pro football or something. It's all different ones, Focus, but you know what I'm talking about, one of those that ranks them. But hey, anyway, We'll take it. We'll take it. Listen, if you're adding speed, you're adding a playmaker. Now you've got some linebackers that, you need to have strong linebackers. There's no doubt about it. So, the more the merrier, I guess. Plus, on special teams, they should be demons on special teams. All right, no 4th-round pick. I don't really like that one either. I just, again, I'm not going to be too upset about it, but I just wish we had a 4th-round pick. Not that they're 2nd-round picks. I'd like the 3rd. 4th is just, it's not that far off. There's still good football players. You can find a lot of great football. You can find great football players in the 7th round. Need I remind you, Jag fans, Bobby McCray, Rob Meyer. I mean, great football players that we found in the 7th round. Okay, so Snoop Conner out of Ole Miss. Now, this doesn't mean anything. It does not mean anything. We were up in Charleston. My daughter's 21st birthday. And we're hanging out with her friends. And one of her friends goes to Ole Miss. We've known her since she was a baby. Her name's Sydney. So she flew in. And when the pick happened, before the pick happened, Matt Corral got drafted. I said, hey, Sydney, do you know Matt Corral? She's like, oh, he's so mean. I said, oh, he's mean? He's like, yeah, he walks around. He's so mean. I go, but you know him. He's like, oh, yeah, everybody knows him. I said, okay, cool. Come down, whatever. A couple hours later, I said, hey, do you know Snoop Conner? She's like, who? I said, Snoop Conner, your running back. She's like, I seriously have never heard of him before. I'm like, come on, you haven't? He's our 5th-round pick. You don't know Snoop? She's like, Mr. McManus, I swear I've never. Not that that means anything, but an interesting pick. They say he's a battering ram, goal line, short yardage. Okay, cool. I mean, is he an insurance policy in case J-Rob and or ETN aren't fully back? Yeah. I can see, especially for a J-Rob, he seems like a J-Rob type runner. If they feel like that, that Achilles isn't going to come back the way they hope it, maybe. And then still have ETN, yeah.
Dude,
you needed to address the running back room. It's fine, and I'm happy for the kid. I had no idea who the kid was. But nonetheless, I don't know who Gregory Jr. is or Monteric Brown is either. But we're going to talk about them because I especially like this Gregory Jr. kid. They say, I was reading some reports on him. He was like one of the top non-invited combine players in the draft. Like, he was like this kid. I guess he didn't go to the combine, but he's long, he's fluid, he can run. Maybe he's got a chip on his shoulder. He comes from, I don't even, how do you say it, Graham? You've been around. How do you say where that kid's from? Ochita Baptist? Ochita?
I couldn't get it.
Where is it? I should have looked that up. Where is that?
Do
you look it up?
It's I think it's in Louisiana.
Oh, it is? Okay. Hey, whatever. They found him. We'll see if it. Look, here's the deal. 6, 7. You're taking flyers. I mean, free agents aren't that much off. 7th rounders, and as far as how they're graded, they're really not. They're pretty close. Excuse me. Some closer than others. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So Gregory Jr. comes in 6th round, and then Monteric Brown, the corner out of Arkansas, comes in at the 7th round. Again, they went all defense except one. Little surprising. Look, our number one asset is who? It's the Golden Boy, right? It is. It's Trevor. You didn't really do anything to address him. Now, Snoop will help, right? Downhill runner. I hope he's great. I didn't mean to make a shot at it. I don't really. Look, nobody knew who the hell I was. Are you kidding me? Especially when I came here. They're like, what? You're out of football for 2 years? What? Who are you? Excuse me. You're only here because Coughlin's a coach? What is this kid doing here? I was like, yeah. Up yours. I'm going to give it a shot. And I did. But nonetheless, hey, congrats to all the guys that got drafted. Congrats to Balky. Look, he made some good trades. They're fine. I don't like not having a 2nd round. It's not a big deal. But I just think the 2nd round, and you could say Lloyd kind of, he's a 1st rounder, obviously. But I don't know. I think I guess when you bring in Olukan, you're not sitting there thinking you need another backer, right? Olukin, I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
I think they definitely needed at least one more.
But you're not thinking high, like you need.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Look, use the same, logic that we heard. Oh, well, Cam signed, so we don't need a tackle. Right? I mean, that's why I didn't grab a tackle because we don't need him because Cam's signed.
First round.
Which I didn't agree with.
First round is
excuse me.
That's expensive draft capital for.
Oh yeah.
I thought 2 was a little much.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about 2, but I will say if they had gone through the whole draft without drafting a linebacker, I would have been like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I just.
No, you had to address it, and they did. It's fine. It's fine. Look, more linebackers that can get to the ball and knock the crap out of people, the more the merrier, in my opinion. But overall, look, even the ones that I'm going to talk about real quick, they look good on paper. You're like, wow. Like Baltimore. I think Baltimore had a phenomenal draft, at least in the first, few picks. And then they got what they wanted, what they needed.
A first-round pick for Hollywood Brown.
Oh.
Dude, I'd take that every day of the week.
Huge. And he gets $100 million?
Wow. Saved a bunch of money. You got Tyler Linderbaum, and you got an extra first.
And then you take a shot on Ojabo, which, look, if he comes back, he's a ball player. If he wasn't hurt, he'd have been a top 10 pick, I bet.
And they're the type of team that's good enough to wait on that.
Yeah.
Well, like if the Jaguars had drafted him, I would have been a little bit hesitant because the Jaguars don't have the talent to wait on.
We're not in that position.
The Ravens do, right?
They can let that kid.
They can wait till November and see what's up.
I think Cal Hamilton to there is just like a perfect fit, like perfect. I don't know. It just seems like that kid's going to have a monster career.
Well, like tell me there's no
healthy.
Tell me you can picture any world where he's not just a stud for them.
No,
there's not. He's going to be so good for them.
No doubt. He's got the big dog in front of him, too, man. Calais is back. No, he can't play anymore. Yeah, sure. But Lindenbaum, OGB, and then that humongous tackle out of Minnesota. We'll see if he can move well enough. But he's like 6'8", Falele or whatever they call him. The Giants, to me, I don't know much about the rest of the draft, but, man, it felt perfect into their hands how they drafted Thibodeau and then Neal. I mean, that was like –
falling to him, too. They didn't have to give up anything.
People thought they were going to, do this, do that. They just sat there and waited. And look, the Jags taking Walker, that didn't make a panic for the tackles. So if they took Neal, guaranteed there would have been a panic on the tackle. Someone would have traded up for Ekwonu. You know what I mean? They would have. It's just that's how the draft goes. It's like when the receivers run. Everyone's like, the receivers are going. I got to get a receiver. I got to get a receiver. You know what I mean?
Those 4 top receivers went back to back to back.
Yeah, no, I know. Right.
That's crazy.
That's the run. Right? That's the run on them.
The most interesting storyline of the first round, or maybe like the top 10 to me, was after Walker and Hutch. 2 corners in a row.
Yeah.
Was really interesting to me.
Yeah,
Before Neal, before Ekwonu, before Thibodeau.
I like Sauce.
I do
like
too.
him, man. I think he's going to be a ball player.
I do.
And the Jets did well. Their first 3 picks, I think they did well.
I do too.
Jermaine Johnson was huge. 24th. That was a great pickup to finalize that one.
I definitely would not have predicted if I had made a first round mock.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys probably would have gone like 7-8.
Yeah.
3 and 4 was like, wow.
I know. Well, first 5 were defenders.
I know. Crazy. Crazy.
It was great. Good for them. Seahawks, good one with Charles Cross, who some say could be the best tackle that came out. Boye Mafe, a edge rusher, and then that kid out of, I think, Michigan State, the running back, Kenneth Walker III. That's not bad. Green Bay, I mentioned. I think they did a pretty – the Pats, they're funny, man. Cole Strange. Who knows Cole Strange? UT Chattanooga. He's another Logan Mankins or something. It'll work out for them. Watch.
If any team besides the Patriots had made that pick, it would have been eaten alive. But because it's Belichick, it's like, oh.
And I was watching the draft, and the fans were cheering it. And they have no idea who the kid is, but they're like, yes.
There's no chance they've heard of that guy.
No doubt. Well, you know what? They're known for turning offensive linemen into very good offensive linemen. I thought the Steelers going with Pickett. Now, son, I understand the tears. I understand the emotion. But can we cut it after, 20 seconds? I mean, you were sitting there. You wouldn't. I don't know what the hell you were doing. Get up. Whatever. Good for you. I'm just a big crier in public. I cry a lot, but I don't cry a lot.
If I got first round draft pick money, I might be that emotional too.
No, I know. It's emotional. Don't get me wrong.
I might be a basket case for 20 minutes if I got that kind of money.
You know what was funny? And let me wrap up with I want to just wrap a couple free agent notes. DeAndre Hopkins, free agent notes, 6-game suspension. He is not, it's weird. He tested the month before and after was negative, but then a month in between he tested positive. Strange. And so anyway, 6 games. You know now why they did that big trade. And Honey Badger going home. How about that to the Saints? Tyrann Mathieu going to the Saints. $18 million in guaranteed money.
As if they don't have enough good DBs.
Yeah.
My God, their whole back end's ridiculous.
No doubt. And what did they gave up a lot for that Chris Olave. And we'll see about Trevor Penning. I don't know. I know everyone likes his, gets after people, but if he don't have the goods, it ain't gonna matter how tough he thinks he is. And I'm sure he's tough. Northern Iowa guys are pretty tough overall, and will come in with a chip. But does he have, the movement? Does he have, the technique? And does he have the strength, the lower body strength to not get run over? Because if you watch a few clips from the Senior Bowl, he was getting run over.
Isn't it weird that like you just said, like Northern Iowa guys,
yep.
There's certain schools
yeah.
that are like never like big time schools during college football
yep.
season, but they always have some draft guys
and tough football players.
Northern Iowa was one of
they
them.
have a chip on them. Boston College is a lot like that.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. And no disrespect to BC, I love BC, but you're not you're not the top of the food chain when it comes to colleges and football teams. You're good, you're solid, but you're not.
Right.
You ain't going there to win championships.
The two Carolina schools, North Carolina, NC State.
Yeah.
I mean, they're never like sometimes they're in the top 25 or whatever, but they're never going to make the playoff, and they always have good draft players, really good draft guys. It's weird. It's interesting.
Yeah. No, it is. Well, hopefully it works out for him, but that's cool for the Honey Badger to go back to New Orleans, man. It's gotta feel pretty cool. And he's had a great career, and man, he's absolutely fantastic. All right, I forgot what I was going to get into before I went to the free agent pick, so I apologize for that. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe my producer will remind me, or maybe not. It's okay. Dad Bods this Friday night.
Let's go.
Yeah, man, we're back at it. I tell you, we're starting to get some interest out there. So rock and roll cover band. We got new songs, Graham. Now I'm going to tell you one, but you're probably not going to know it. Did I tell you that Love Removal Machine from the Cult? Go listen to Love Removal Machine from the Cult. That's one of them. About a handful of new tunes. So it'll be rocking at the Three Palms Restaurant. I think they call it the Three Palms Grill on Delta Mar Road, right there in Sawgrass. Just tell them you're coming in to see the Dad Bods. They'll be waiting on you. That'll be a lot of fun. Of course, I'll be filming The Horse's Mouth this weekend, or this Thursday, I should say. Future guests, not this week, but next week, Mayor Curry and Mark Lamping from the Jags. So going to look forward to doing that. This Thursday, I'm on with Hick in the morning, me and Dan Hicken, 7 to 10.
That's going to be a fun show.
It should be fun.
You, Hick, and E.T.
And E.T.
That's a great show.
It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. So busy week. Hope you have a good week. Hey, man, if you're a Jag fan, you should feel all right. You should feel, I mean, look, could you nitpick and do this? Yeah, but at the end of the day, even the ones that I said that look good on paper, you don't know. You have no idea. What we don't know. We don't know. Look, Linderbaum could turn out to be not that good of a center. He could be. Maybe he's just average. Maybe Ojabo never gets back. You look at Thibodeau and Neal. Maybe Neal, who knows? Maybe doesn't have the feet. And maybe Thibodeau does take plays off and ends up being not. I know you just don't know. On paper is one thing. Putting it together is another. So that's going to be up to Doug Peterson and his staff, to have those guys in the right positions under the right culture. I'm excited for the team. Look, again, it's not, I went through it. It's not flashy. It's not like, and I know there were question marks, but, the Steelers grabbing George Pickens in the second round, that's like, wow, okay, that's flashy, man. Potentially that kid could be a great game-breaking wide receiver.
That's what I said yesterday. Somebody asked me what I thought about. Yesterday, somebody asked me what I thought about the draft, and I was just like, I don't like. There's a lot of guys in there I think could be really good players. It's just a very unsexy draft.
Well, it's funny how we're all thinking offense.
I know.
I mean, and not to even single out Baselli, I was the same way. He's like, I think they're doing the whole draft on offense. We did. I mean, I was like, yeah, I think so too. Like, let's do offense. And I was like, nope. All defense.
We probably all should have taken more of the hint with free agency.
Yeah.
How much they spent on free agency.
And it just shows that I think they felt, as far as a wide receiver, they weren't going to get the one they really wanted. I think that's what it came down to. And I think if that wide receiver's there, wherever there is, I think they would have gone that route. Hey, what we think, and that means all our great fans, isn't always what they think. And I know a lot of people out there think that they think more than what they think. Does that make sense? More than the Jags. You don't. You're not, look, you're probably not that far off, because you can look at football players and be like, and if you really watch them and study them, yeah, you can tell if they're a good football player or not. But most people don't. They read something like, oh, that's it. Like Hutchinson, oh, he's the best. Oh, you got him. Like, did you really watch him? Or did you just see, like, his stats? Oh, 14 sacks. Oh, of course, first round. He's a guy.
Or did you just watch highlights?
Yeah, or just highlights. So I don't, right? When I watch highlights, I want to look at just their athleticism. I'm not really looking at the play itself. I want to see the bend, or the extension, or, the feet to move outside and come back inside, or whatever it is, getting off press coverage, making the tough grab, when you're getting smashed, just seeing where you're at, mentally, physically, emotionally. So, not emotionally, you can't tell, but, that kind of thing. But these departments, that's what they do for a living. So I'm going to, look, they know more than me. They do. They know more about these players than I do. Without a doubt. We'll find out if they're right. We're not going to know today. We may know first year, although, look, Josh Allen had a great first year. Then he tapered off. Not a bad third year. He's got to get back to the first year. We hope now that with either Lloyd or with Walker, whoever, even Muma, maybe he can rush too. Who knows? I tell you one thing, Shaq, Chason, man, your antennas better be up. You better be coming to play all offseason long. They don't nothing happens in the NFL without reason. If they believed in you, they wouldn't have drafted these kids. That's the reality of it. That doesn't mean you can't make the team and be a big contributor to the team, but obviously you better step your game up, or you may not be a Jacksonville Jaguar. And I don't want that to happen. But that would light a fire under me if I was a linebacker before the draft in the room, and that they come up with this draft. I'm sitting there going, man, I better step it up.
The biggest statement they made in the draft, in my opinion, is what they think of Kayvon Chason.
Yeah?
Between taking Walker, Lloyd, and Muma,
right?
You think you've got nothing with Chason. Or you don't make all those 3 picks.
No.
If you think you have a legitimate potential edge rusher, outside linebacker, edge rusher, and a 3-4 with Kayvon Chason, you don't draft those 3 guys. There's no way you draft all 3 of those guys.
Kayvon better get good at covering punts and kickoffs. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
You better.
Right.
All you got, quarterman too, man. Lose some weight and be faster on kickoff. I mean, you're fighting for a roster spot. You ain't fighting for the starting spots are going to these guys. It's their jobs to lose. That's how it works. That's the political part of the NFL. If I'm drafted high, guess who's getting more opportunity than someone that isn't drafted high? Or if I'm a backup and they draft a kid in the first, second, third round, guess who's stepping in, Now, there's no sure thing that they're going to be players. I can remember we had a couple guys in the third round. They didn't always pan out, but, we'll see. But overall, not bad. So congrats to everybody. I hope it goes well. Of course, we'll call it like we see it. Oh, also congrats to Josh Allen getting that 5th-year option picked up. It's good. I'm hoping with the addition of these other guys that he really stands out. Because now it's not, and trust me, I know exactly what he's thinking. He's smiling from ear to ear thinking, now they're not always going to slide to me. And that little punk running back's not going to chip me in the ribs every single time I try to put a move on the tackle or the tight end. He's smiling. He's like, man, I get some one-on-one opportunities like I did in my rookie year. That's what he needs. And then you need some help from the inside. All right, that's going to do it from here. For me, catching up with Tommy Mac Podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com, on their Facebook page and other social media platforms, which I'll share and stream it on the relevant app, the group messaging super app with live pop-up chat rooms centered around podcasting. Become a podcaster. Get your voice. Become relevant. It's the People's app, and it's a free download. So go to the Apple Store or Google Play, RELEVNT, no A at the end, and you'll be glad you did. We'll welcome you with open arms. Mike Tyson new, Henry Cejudo coming over. We got the fight game covered. Got a lot of the NFL teams and college teams, all the sports, NBA, baseball, all. They got channels of like-minded fans. Go to the Jaguars Fanatics channel and just see all the, it's fun, man. We interact, we go back and forth. It's a good time. And you'll enjoy it. All right, till next time, stay safe and be cool. And we'll see you right here at Catching Up with Tommy Mack.